to ask you about the United States election. A little over a month ago, after the near miss, the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, it seemed like a certainty that he would be the next president. Many commentators thought he would win in a landslide. We've seen since then this transformation of Kamala Harris. No substantive interviews. She wasn't subject to any interrogation during what would normally be primary debates. No serious media interviews to date.
Yep.
Do you think this is a concern? Do you think we need to see what the alternative president is like, what she stands for, what her policies are?
Well, I think Americans do. They're the ones making the decision. I mean, we've had the show business side of this campaign up until now. They both had their conventions and they were, larger than life affairs. We had the initial debate, which had its, quite extraordinary follow-on. And up until then, I think we'd seen us, and we had the indictment and prosecution of Donald Trump, and that's when I saw him when he was still in court at that time. The issues were very much focused around borders, the economy, and President Trump had a pretty strong lead going into that debate. It wasn't after that debate; he also already had a pretty good one going into it. Since that time, it was fairly obvious that if they were to change, well, it could lead to any number of outcomes, and it's led to a positive outcome for the Democrats. But there's still a long way to go in this race, and anyone who's confidently saying one way or the other at the moment how this is going to end, I think is either listening to their heart more than their head, or is trying to assert some sort of bold confidence. I think it's too close to call now. I wouldn't have said that prior to the debate or around the time of the debate. I think President Trump was in a pretty commanding position. But you would hope, and I have a lot of faith in American democracy, that by the time people come around to vote, everybody will do their job. That includes media in terms of calling for the questions to be answered. I recall back in the 2019 election, it was John O'Lee who asked some pretty pointed questions of the then opposition leader, which was had a pretty big impact, I think, at that time. That's the job of journalists and media in any campaign, not to take sides, but to grill those who seek the highest office, and particularly in the United States.
Now, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese rarely mentions China when he's speaking about AUKUS. I interviewed US Congressman Michael McCall recently, and he said that AUKUS was the single greatest deterrent for China. It was the grouping that they were most terrified of. What's your view about the importance of AUKUS in our region when we are seeing an increasingly aggressive China?
Well, I think our American friends are right about this, and it was certainly our view when we were in government as well. I think that has been one of the early successes of AUKUS, is that it has said in a very clear way that the working of allies and partners is one of the greatest deterrents that we have against aggression, against these types of assertions that we saw from the Communist government in China in our region. And AUKUS was designed to deter not just that type of threat, but authoritarian threats wherever we may encounter them, and to have the three most trusted allies and partners of all in the world, I would argue, coming together in this way. But it just doesn't do that. It also then provides a platform for those most trusted of partners to engage with other like-mindeds in our region, whether that be Japan or Korea in particular, but many others across the Indo-Pacific. And we've seen that, and as a result, we have seen that deterrent exercised in our region for a very positive purpose.
Are you concerned that Keir Starmer has ordered a review into AUKUS in the UK?
Well, Sir Stephen Lovegrove was there in the room when we put the deal together. He was the National Security Advisor to my good friend Boris Johnson at the time. We were all up there in Carbis Bay when we had both.
And Joe Biden?
Joe Biden was there, of course, and Jake Sullivan, and we were all there together with Michelle Chan from Australia and Jimmy Kiplox from my team. And this is the group that formed AUKUS. And so Stephen has, I think, an outstanding understanding of what this is all about, what it's designed to do, why they're the three partners that are in the room, has a very good appreciation of the two-pillar nature of AUKUS, because if this was just a deal about submarines, then that's all it had to be. But it was far more than that. You know, sometimes you hear, oh, it's just a technology sharing partnership. No, this is a transformational partnership between the most trusted partners of any in the world that is designed to deter authoritarian aggression by developing capabilities that can give effect to that and build platforms for others to engage in for the same purpose.
Scott Morrison, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
No worries. Thank you. Good to talk to you.